Live your world within this world. Stop living the world of the media and what you're being thrown. Every time you turn the telly on, it's bad news. Every time you read the paper, it's bad news. There's no such thing as good news. With a healthy body comes a healthy mind. With a healthy mind, you can think better, you can make better decisions, you can take and handle stress better. Alcohol. If I have a few too many, I get up in the middle of the night and I feel like a bad man, a bad person, a bad dad. It really gives me anxiety.
You're going to have me going here in a second. Feel I'm well enough here.
Yeah.
That's powerful. Hi, I'm Karen Pollard and welcome to the Challenger CEO podcast. This podcast is for all those big heart, big impact CEOs that are challenging the status quo, changing the narrative, and making sure that we're not settling for less. I'm really excited, actually. As you can probably tell from my face, I am joined by the amazing Scott Harrison, who is the founder of the Six Pack Revolution. So without further ado, because I know Scott has a whole reel of titles and credentials and qualifications, but I will let Scott come and introduce himself. And first question for you, actually, Scott, is 3 words: Six Pack Revolution. What makes it different from anything else that's out there?
Well, that's a good start, isn't it? Well, thank you for having me, first of all. It's really nice to be here, although we've just pretty much done a podcast, didn't we? Did not stop talking. So what's different? So the Six Pack Revolution is actually very simple. It's not a fad. It's not a diet. I don't even like to call it a diet. That's something that people have hijacked, that word, something you jump on and jump off as soon as possible. It's just how the human body should be fed, which is a balanced plate of food, balanced throughout the day with hydration. And when you do that, you balance the body, you balance its hormones, you build a machine that works at its optimum. When it works at its optimum, it burns fuel efficiently, which is fat, builds muscle mass, hair, skin, whites of eyes, teeth, nails, all more radiant. And also, we also have like 100% success rate in chronic illness, either being cured or brought back to a more manageable level. And I'm talking ME, MS, fibromyalgia, eczema, psoriasis, IBS, Crohn's, type 1, type 2 diabetes, sleep apnea, scoliosis, lipedema, and so on and so on. I could go on for hours.
Yeah.
And it's not even, we eat lots more than most people usually before Six Pack as well. It's not restrictive in the sense of you're not eating all the time or starving yourself like some of these other diets.
Yeah.
We don't take out macros, as a whole group of macros. We just eat normal. Wow. And the ironic thing is it's quicker and obviously more healthier than any other on the planet. The other thing that's different is the support. We are with you live all day, every day, from before you start till after you finish. Ask a question, it's answered in minutes. And the most important thing is the results. They're not seen anywhere else on the planet Earth, even close.
Wow. So I mean, I know it a little bit more intimately than somebody who'd be on here now, because I'm currently doing the program myself. I am just coming to that halfway mark, which is really, really exciting. And everything that you're saying, you can see me nodding my head because I can recognize so many changes in me personally. Interestingly enough, I had never heard of the Six Pack Revolution until a group of my business besties had told me about it, and I saw their physical transformations. So how do people get to know about the Six Pack Revolution? Because it feels a bit like Fight Club. You know about it if you know about it, if you know what I mean. Well,
it's grown so fast. I mean, we're like growing up to 50% a year. And that's mostly organically because the results are so out of this world. You know, it's not just a physical result either. The way it changes you mentally and emotionally as well, it far outweighs the physical, and the physical is crazy. We change your relationship with food, with drink, and with yourself, and that radiates off of everybody. And therefore it kind of grows very fast. And so, I mean, we are on every social media pretty much. I have tons of celebrities that do the program. So I've been in every magazine, newspaper. I've been on Steph's Packed Lunch. We've been on Loose Women 3 times in 2 years. So you must have just been living under a rock or something.
Probably.
because it's been everywhere.
Yeah.
And I was just telling you that story that one of the participants was in Tesco's, or I can't remember what supermarket it was, and she was on the conveyor belt going at the till, and the person behind the till said, "Are you doing the six-pack revolution?" She could just reckon all this healthy food that was coming through. So yeah, you must have just had your eyes closed.
I must have. So what actually happened? I mean, do you get recognised as the face of Six Pack Revolution?
Yeah, this is quite funny because I got stopped. My wife and kids. My wife rolls her eyes. My kids love it. Okay. But I got stopped. Where did we go? I think we went to a wedding in Ibiza, and I got stopped on the way out and twice on the way back, just for like a selfie and stuff like this.
Yeah.
So it's quite cool. It's quite nice. It's quite nice to, and also it's so much love when people see me. It's a different, because they thank me for changing their lives, which obviously they did it. I just gave them the knowledge to do so.
Where did that knowledge come from? How did you form? What makes you qualified and expertise to? Obviously, the success rate is fantastic, and it is a massive revolution, but where did that all come from?
What, the knowledge?
The knowledge to create the program, yeah. Okay,
so first of all, if we're going back to 2015, this is kind of how it started, but the knowledge comes within that story, so I'll do a quick version, otherwise we will be here all day. So in 2015, December, I was picking up the kids from school for the first time in ages, and I was watching the parents, and it was a cold day, but it was really apparent that they were bloated, poisoned, obese. Some couldn't even walk properly. They were waddling because they were buckling under the weight. And I remember one person was like this. The skin was quite bad and all this, but very bloated. And I was like, God. And all the little kids were running out to their role models, and I was like, well, that doesn't look good, does it? And then I realised I was one of them. And I decided then I was going to get a six-pack in 90 days. That's where the names come from. I chose 90 days because that was at the time. Yeah. The known time to make a change. Yeah. And I just started to blog it on Facebook. But and then 36 other people wanted to join me. And I said, well, if I'm doing this properly, so no messing. And I was quite strict and managed to I got about 19 to the finish line. And the results were like no one had ever seen them before. Yeah. And then people kept saying, do another one. And then in the September, I did another one, and 120 joined that one. And then I realised I had something that was quite special. Yeah. But I was studying a Dr. Barry Sears from America. This is where the first part of knowledge came from. He had a thing called the zone diet, which made a lot of sense to me. It was all about reducing diet-induced inflammation, balancing hormones, creating a machine that worked, rather than just looking at a set of scales and starving yourself to make them look good. It was more about how we make a real powerful machine, mentally, physically, and emotionally. So it really worked for me. And then I just kept tweaking. And Dr. Barry Sears might not like this, but I think I've got it better. Oh. I've tweaked it now to the actual normal person. Yes. I've also reduced it down to 75 days and get better results now than we did 90, just through more knowledge, more studying. I've got several diplomas in nutrition. My wife's a nutritionist that specialises in the application to physical activity. We've got a GP on the programme, on the team, a doctor of biochemistry, a psychotherapist that's got more MSc and Masters than you've ever seen. The list is ridiculous. And a doctor of chiropractic who also has the highest level of qualification you can get in the world. Yeah. So I've got a great team behind me as well. Plus there's little old me that is pretty good at what I do too. Absolutely. And going from that second one, which is 120 people, we have tens of thousands now, and we're currently got participants in 65 countries all over the world. So it's a global phenomenon. It's huge. Yeah. You likened it, when I spoke with you recently, to COVID. Tell me about that. The way it spreads. Yeah. So when it touches you, you're infected with it, and you can't hide from it. That's what I meant. But a much nicer and much nicer analogy could have probably been said. But I think we can all associate with the pandemic, considering we've literally just come out of it. So that's been something that's been on my mind a bit. And what I wanted to just chat with you about is obviously coming out of the pandemic, there has
been probably a pandemic of ill health and obesity and stress and trauma and everything else we've carried around with us. Plus, we've all been hidden from the neck down for a long time. And now, all of a sudden, the world's reopening, we're reconnecting, but we're heading into recession. And the feeling that I'm getting and the chat that I'm getting from people I work with and connect with is you've got to put yourself out there if you want to get ahead of what's happening economically out there. So my question to you, and tell me if you think you agree with this, is do you think your body's putting yourself in the way of your business? Is it preventing your business from being successful? Do you think there's a correlation? Do you agree with that statement?
If you think about it this way, with a healthy body comes a healthy mind. With a healthy mind, you can think better, you can make better decisions, you can take and handle stress better, and you're sharper. So just that alone, 100% would be much better for you. Secondly, we've got neurons in our mind that are multifunctional, and they do lots of different things. There's billions of them.
Yeah.
So if we bang ourselves on the table, it will feel pain. But that also, that same neuron could maybe get us to think something else or help us to walk or help. So the mind and body is actually connected scientifically. So if you eat bad, what people don't even realize is they always think they come to Six Pack originally because if I eat bad, if I'm overweight, my heart and lungs don't work properly, I need to move around and eat better. But they forget that your brain's a part of that body too. So what goes through here is feeding this just as much as this. So if this isn't working properly, nothing, or this isn't working properly, whichever one or both, then nothing's working properly. And you'll get business owners that might say, well, I function absolutely fine. What about what you're not doing? Because you don't realize how much better you are.
Yeah.
And so I think, if you want to really be successful, you need the whole package. Doesn't mean you can't party, obviously.
Yeah.
And I teach everyone at the end of the program how to keep the results and party twice a week.
That's the key thing, because I think there's this whole, I don't know how many different diets and programs I've done personally, and I've had great results. But then afterwards, it's like, okay, well, back to starting point again.
That's why we don't have cheat days, and that's why it's a structured program for 75 days. We sacrifice, for want of a better phrase, and abstain for 75 days on all the bad stuff. You still eat lots and lots of delicious food, as you know.
Yeah.
And we do all sorts of chicken nuggets and chips with ketchup and all sorts of stuff, but homemade. And then at the end, once we've rewired the way your body and mind works and changed that relationship with food and drink and yourself, as I said earlier, then you've got the power back. So what I try and do is give people their power backs, where they decide when they party rather than it's deciding when it goes in.
Definitely.
And then you get the best of both worlds. I can walk around looking like Wolverine now and party twice a week if I want to, and still feel great.
Yeah.
After a bad night, I might wish I hadn't still, but it doesn't take long to get back on track then, because I've created a body that can take it. When
you have overcome and come through that transformation and you're in that place that you can manage it as part of your life, there's a different energy and a frequency and confidence and almost an ability to do things that would have been scary and prevented you before. Do you agree with that?
Well, if you think about it, right? If you eat properly, and you exercise is great for your mind, for your bones, your muscles, whatever. But it's an all-encompassing thing you've got here, right? To work with. We ain't got nothing else to work with. This is it. If you are poisoning yourself on a regular basis, then that's when the anxiety creeps in. That's when the depression creeps in. That's when your mind doesn't function the way it should. That's when you can't handle things that have come your way.
Yeah.
When you flip the script and you do it the right way around, then you live like the world is rigged in your favor. I do. If something bad happens, I assume it's for my good.
Yeah.
And I almost say with a grin, smug grin, I can't wait to find out why.
Yeah.
And if you have that mentality, everything you can spin into a positive.
Yeah.
And then surely you're going to function better, be a better business person, be able to give yourself more to people, cope with the abundance of stuff that we've got now that comes our way, and still look after the family.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
You need headspace for that.
Yeah.
If you're filling that with constant poison, whether that be alcohol, sweet, sugar, fat, caffeine, salt, whatever it is, always, you need to find the balance, and then you can play both games.
Definitely. That's an amazing outlook to have, and it sounds incredibly positive. And that's the one thing that really strikes with you is the ability to see the positive and spin the positive. So where's that come from, and were you always like that?
I actually was relatively a positive, buzzy person, but then. And that caused me trouble, actually. When I was in school, I was quite badly bullied. I had glasses, and so my personality didn't match my look.
Okay.
So I used to get really badly bullied for that. I was quite badly bullied in school.
Right.
I was weed on more than once, and they laughed at, and because I was so scared, at the time I didn't do anything about it. That probably stuck with me for about 30 years. I was we go back to that time. We've worked out with the psychotherapist on the team that's probably where my bulimia started.
Okay.
So I was bulimic for over 30 years, quite
Really?
badly. Yeah.
Okay.
And we put those two things together. Okay, that's probably maybe where I was getting my control, because I had none.
Right.
So then I got rid of my glasses and got contact lenses. I got beaten up for that thing, because I was now a good-looking bloke that the girls quite liked. So I got bullied for that.
Right.
But do you know what? All of these things now I know were here to put me in my dream job, which I do now, because I now can speak to people that have been through in a dark place. Because let me tell you, when someone does what they did to me, that's a dark place to be in. I've been divorced. My wife was seeing 3 other men, not the one I got now, obviously.
No, well, hopefully not.
And so I can deal with people that have had losses like that. Obviously, I went through the loss of my little boy. I can talk to people about that. I help people with that. I've had an eating disorder. So all of these things is what now puts me where I am, where every single person that can speak to me, even if I've got the right words, it doesn't always resonate but if I can then tell them, hang on, but I've been where you are.
Yeah.
That now lifts them out of that hole that they were in, and hopefully shines a bit of light where there was darkness.
Definitely. And I think for me, that was such a powerful comparison in the program, to actually have seen where you came from, just from a physical point of view, that snapshot of the man you were there to the man you are today. It's not even about the physicality. It's just two completely different people.
You wouldn't even recognise me walking down the street,
no.
would you? It's surprising what fat and bad nutrition does to your face and everything. Like you wouldn't know it was myself.
Yeah.
And that was when I was 42, I turned that around. So it's not like everyone thought I was in the program thinks I'm ripped from the age of 20 and been a PT for 20 odd years or whatever else, and realise, hang on a minute, this has only been the last few years. Yeah.
So what were you doing before then? Because I'd say, 6 packs sounds like an overnight success. So where were you for the last 40 odd years then previously?
I had a very successful double glazing company.
Okay.
And then before that, I had a chain of sunbed and beauty salons, actually. And then before that, I worked in the city. I was a trader.
Right.
Back in the 90s.
Okay, when they were carrying the big mobile phones. Yeah.
Yeah, I was before the yuppies. Yeah.
Okay.
Shows my age.
And how did you get drawn into the area, into the whole world of fitness? Has that always been a passion of yours?
Well, I've been a karate instructor since my 20s, so I loved karate, but I was just fit and fat.
Yeah.
And then it was just that day, that moment where I decided that I was going to make a change. I was say in my 40s and thinking to myself, well, I'm going down the wrong path here.
Yeah.
And obviously I've been a dad and wanting to be an inspiration to the children.
Definitely.
I'm just so glad I went to school that day, because a light bulb went off in my head. That's where the 6-pack revolution comes from, because I didn't know it was going to become such a big. In fact, it was called the Scott's Too Hot 90-Day 6-Pack Challenge. But
I mean, it's a catchy name.
It's a little bit too long. But I always sit and think to myself, should the name be different? Because there must be so many people that see it and think I can't do that. Even though we've got ladies that go from a size 20 dress to a 12 in one wave with no saggy skin. And guys go from a 36 waist to a 30 in one wave, pecs, abs, bicep. Yeah. And like people are like, how's this even happening? Yeah. I get accused of photoshopping, giving people steroids, taking heads off and putting them on other bodies and all that. And as you know how anal I am about the photos, probably the one thing I go nuts about. Yeah. I don't do any of that, obviously. It's a compliment that they think that. But how do I put this? If I hadn't have had that vision for some strange reason, all of this wouldn't have even happened. So I feel like it just all came when it should. Yeah. It was just after my little boy as well. So it's like I was now qualified, a life qualification. Oh, I've got all the other qualifications, but what I mean is...
Yeah, definitely.
To be fair, it's more the life qualification that gives me so much... strength and motivation for others, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's only so much that an academic qualification can give you, and I'm a massive advocate of experience dominates qualification.
Always.
Any day of the week, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Always. Yeah.
And I love it. I love every minute of it.
Yeah, and just seeing all these lives being changed all around the world. So this is a global phenomenon, which is really exciting. So what does the next 12 months look like? What's the big dream? What's the vision for the next 12 months?
My vision's, I've got 10 years vision. To be fair, I'm 10 years behind. I've got so many things that I've got planned that we just can't keep up with. In fact, I drive the team mad. So I've got like this innovative team or marketing type team that bring all my ideas to life for me. And I've got so much going on. We've got next year, there might be a new program coming out that's never been seen before.
A 35-day program.
No, it's still going to be 75 days. But because you need a certain amount of time to change that relationship. Yeah. You can't do it in 35 days. No. They'll just end up back at square one. And I've got lots of new products and stuff coming out.
Yes.
And you'll see that soon. In fact, next week we've got something coming out.
Okay.
So, but I've got so many ideas, so many different ways of doing stuff. And obviously I've got all the other stuff that we were talking about before with the book and everything else to come through. Also, I do lots of quotes. Have you seen all my quotes?
Yes.
I'm doing a book around that to try and give people just to live a different thought process within their lives.
Definitely.
So that they can... again, view as much as possible from there's light in every situation.
Yeah.
And there is you can get over every single obstacle that comes your way, and the winner's the one that doesn't stop till they find it.
Yeah, definitely. I can just visualize that Scott's mantras and manifestations. So yeah, really inspiring. What do you say to people who think you might be a bit woo?
A bit woo? I don't actually get that. I don't know. No one ever really says that I'm a bit woo. They might say I'm a bit harsh because I do say things how they are. Yeah. But I've got 75 days to get someone a result that most people take at least 2 years. Yeah. So I haven't got time to mess around. But woo is not a word that's ever been sent to me. Yeah. But I'm very spiritual anyway.
Yes.
And you know what? In my eyes, spirituality is also just science, energy. If we constantly focus on what we don't want, then we're going to always attract to us what we don't want, aren't we? If you're I heard something really cool the other day. If you're a skier that goes on the slaloms through the trees, if you're looking at the trees, you're going to hit one. You got to focus on the path in between, and then you'll make all the right twists and turns throughout your life. Yeah, and so if they were to call me woo, I say I'm a good woo.
There we go. That can go in your book. Yeah. And speaking of books, you've got the amazing cookbook full of delicious recipes and things that I've been able to adapt with my own family, even with our eliminated diets with allergies and that. I'm seeing differences in my own husband, who's not even doing the program, but it's great. He's a big fan of the cottage cheese snack. And then I saw as well, you're accomplished children's author as well.
Yeah.
So tell me about that.
Crikey. So that was in my head for a couple of years before I sat down to do it. And I literally did sit down on the toilet.
Okay. Best thinking places.
Just to let you get all that in your mind.
Thanks.
And I wrote it in 10 minutes, but it was 2 years that came out of me. And I do lots of poems. All my life I've written poems. If I'm at an event, I'll do a poem for someone. If I'm at a wedding, I'll do the poem. If I'm doing a six-pack thing, I do a poem. Do lots of poems in six-pack. And on my own birthday, there'd always be a poem. When I went to Malta, there was a poem. Okay. So I write poems a lot. So I've written this in verse. And the first book is called Grumpy Gorilla and Happy Hippo.
Yeah.
A positive tale for all to read, which is the subheading, because the parents or guardians, whoever's reading it to the book, brothers, sisters, need to pay attention to the message as well.
Yeah.
And it's about two best friends, and Gorilla, everything goes wrong for him because he's a grumpy, he always looks on the downside.
Yeah.
And his best friend, Happy Hippo, everything goes well for him because he's happy chap, he always looks on the upside.
Yeah.
And it's just how Hippo teaches his friend how to look at life from a different perspective and live a healthier, happier life, because he does mention about healthy eating and also some exercise in there. But if I would be as bold as to say, it's very Gruffalo-esque. If I could nick Julia
Donaldson.
Yeah, if I could nick her accolades just for a second. If you're ever listening, Julia, sorry, but I think you're great. I think it's up there.
Yeah.
But I would say that, wouldn't I?
Well.
And the second book's called Oh Yes I Can, which is two best friends.
Yeah.
Panda and Tiger. And Panda, she always goes for her dreams. Everything she wants to do, she'll give it a go, win, lose or draw. And Tiger's a scaredy cat, so he wants to do loads of things, but doesn't have doesn't want to step out of his comfort zone. So it's how she teaches him to do that, and therefore fulfill everything he ever wanted to do.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like personal development for children,
Definitely.
all written in beautiful verse. The artists, the illustrations are stunning. I've got a great illustrator called Tom Bonson, and they're really cool as well. So I'm proud of it.
Brilliant. Sounds like it needs to be in the school curriculum. So.
Well, I've given to quite a lot of schools.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a giver, so I've given them out to a lot of schools. But it's pretty cool. I was in the window of Waterstones in World Book Week and did a book signing and stuff. So it's a nice thing to tick off.
Yeah, definitely.
It was a bit strange being in there because you could sort of stand there like a bit of a wally. And just hope people come and talk to you. Obviously, if Ryland was doing it, he'd have a queue down the street. But an unknown is a bit of a strange scenario. You sort of stand there like a bit of a wally for a couple of hours, but I did it. I got through it.
And next time you should flash mob it.
I considered it.
Yeah, did you?
I considered thinking, right, should I just get rent a crowd and get loads of people in. But
well, it doesn't. I don't think you'll be renting a crowd for much longer anyway. So I'd like to delve a little bit into your business model because it fascinates me, just in terms of how you combine physical products with the service and the program element. And there's lots that, we could talk for hours, but there's lots that I think, that's really, really well done. I think the whole thing around connection and a community, the accountability aspect where you bring coaches in, and in doing the program, your performance is enhanced, so your results are enhanced and optimized by the support of the physical products. And I think there's just purely looking from an entrepreneurial and commercial point of view, I think it's fascinating. So which is the biggest part of your business? Is it the program? Is it the product side? How does it all work together?
The program, I would say, is the biggest. Well, it depends what you call biggest. They're probably on a par now, actually. Because obviously with the products, I've spent so much time. You've probably worked out by now. I make sure everything's spot on before I can even consider putting my name to it. I took out all the rubbish. If there's anything in there that I was like, no, that's not going in there. I drove the food scientists and the laboratory and the factory that made them for me all from scratch. I drove them mad. They must have hated me, but I was like, it's not quite right enough. They must be going, oh, God's sake. And also I wanted the flavour to be spot on.
Yeah.
So our biggest thing other than the program is the meal replacement and the post-workout smoothies, which are big pouches of stuff. And I think actually just about now they've come on a par as far as turnover goes. I think they're about equal now.
Yeah.
And then I've just brought out the supplements too. But the reason that the program works so well is every single person that works in the program comes from the program. So remember, if back in the day when I was doing it on Facebook myself, and I put my phone up on the floor on a log, and I'm whipping ropes, I'm looking down, can everyone see me? Oh, this is what we're doing today. And it was like, to what it is now, which is like a fully functioning, ridiculous program.
Yeah.
But it's grown from the ground, and I'm still a part of it as much as I've ever been.
Okay.
So as you see, I'm in every single group. I'm available to every single person. I'm doing the program now with you all. I'm on the September wave.
Okay.
And I'm living it with you, as are my coaches and everyone else. So even to the marketing and the admin, everyone's come from the program.
That's a great recruitment process.
Yeah. So everyone understands it.
Yeah.
Completely.
Definitely.
And feels it. And obviously we're not going to have people in that can't even finish 100% one wave.
Yeah.
So all the people that are in are the ones that are in and get it. And so anyone you will speak to will know the program inside out because they've done it from the ground up as well.
Definitely. So the 100% success rate that you talk about, that's the 100% of the people that make it to the finish line.
Yeah.
What's the drop-off rate like from day 1 to day 75?
Good question. We get about 70% to the finish line.
That's a fantastic conversion.
It's huge. Most on a program that's 75 days, not 5 days, and is no cheat days, no nothing, 25% would be huge. So 75% is incredible. But that's down to we are live with you all day. And if anyone's falling, it gets flagged to me. I am on the phone to them and pulling them out of a hole myself.
Okay.
And so I think, and obviously as it's grown, I've worked out better ways to keep people on track, how to motivate them, to encourage them, to, and I tell them straight as well.
Yeah.
You know, I tell them, you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
What are you even here for? And I'll ask them the blunt question so they go, what?
Yeah, exactly. No sugarcoating.
No.
And it's a yes or a no, either you're for it or not.
Yeah, because I'm 99.9% of the people get it. I get the odd 0.1% that hate me and write loads of bad stuff, but I can't please everyone. But the human mind, I'm very into psychology. I study psychology. I'm doing a diploma at the moment. I'm hoping maybe to have my own practice one day if I get time, which is probably not going to happen. But it works really well with this program. And the mind part is what I love almost most. And humans work well with structure. Too much choice doesn't work. They start going, you've only got to ask Gordon Ramsay that. He goes into all those restaurants, he's got loads of choices. He gets like one page.
Exactly.
And then you're successful.
Yeah.
So you got to understand the human mind. I think that's why a lot of these programs are, you go on TikTok or Instagram and it's kind of like the same old rubbish, which don't even get me talking about that.
Yeah.
And just, all they talk about is calorie deficit, and it drives me mad because for me, the two words calorie deficit doesn't work. Not if your calorie deficit is lager, burgers and chocolate. It just isn't going to work.
Yeah.
They argue that it will. I'm like, no, it won't.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just insane. I had one guy saying to me, 900 calories of donuts is exactly the same as 900 calories of fish and veg. I was like...
It's the same, yeah. So
right. As an energy unit, but that isn't the body, that isn't the mind. It doesn't run on an energy unit only.
Absolutely.
So I find that... I keep going off on tangents, sorry.
Go for it.
I do it all the time. So I can't remember what I was talking about now.
Well, take me down your rabbit hole. If you lost...
No, go on, what was you?
No. So let me just pick up then on something you were saying there around calorie counting and calorie deficit. And the other word out there, BMI. So yes, it makes me shudder. So I have a condition called lipedema.
You do?
And BMI and lipedema just do not make sense. They
don't even use BMI anymore. Like, if you're 5'4", ripped. You could have a really bad BMI, be ripped. Like, that's a bit basic. But my point is that that's why they don't really use it anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they're still using it.
Well,
Most people don't.
So here's my question to you. Obviously, in the UK, we have the NHS and they have their guidelines that measures health, and BMI is within that. Where do you think you fit in actually reducing costs to the NHS long term? And can you, through the six-pack revolution, can you dispel and take strain off the NHS?
I believe that this program can deal with literally, in some way, shape or form, every single chronic illness that exists. It will not cure everything. Like, for example, type 1 diabetes, you can't cure type 1 diabetes, but we have people injecting 7 times a day, going down to 1 a day. That's a big life change. Type 2 diabetes, literally, you walk away from my program without it.
Wow.
And we all know that diet can cure that. You'll find for your condition as well, all over the internet, it can't be cured. That's rubbish. We have loads of people that can be. You're already saying now that you're seeing it all shrink, and you've only been on the program for what, 3-4 weeks? What is it?
Yeah, 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Yeah.
So, and what I hate as well is people that get labelled. You know, and the problem is, if a doctor tells you something, you assume it's the truth and it's the Bible, and it's just not. They get it wrong all the time. I love GPs, but I'm not slagging off GPs, but they've got to accept that they don't always have it right.
Yeah.
And also, they're not taught nutrition in their training at all. And I've got GPs on my team that will tell you that. So I'm not making all that up. And that's a bit strange, but because surely what goes in is the most important thing for your body, is it not? And also, you know, your whole life runs from your gut. That's your gut, your microbiome, so how you are not taught that when you're recommending stuff to people.
Absolutely.
And throwing away these. I mean, I've got people on the program that have said to me, I've got to have some blood tests for something or other. So my doctor's told me to come off of this program and eat normal. And I'm like, you are eating normal. What? So I go, what's that? Go and have a McDonald's? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
What if you was eating this way already?
Yeah.
And you weren't on some program. You got to come off of what? Come off of what? So that makes sense.
Yeah.
And if you've got people like that saying that stuff, I mean, they're not all like that. My GP, she's great. She's funny. She's an Iron Man as well. She's like, she's nuts. And like, she's in a group of 180 other GPs or something like that. And they are all like, had so many of them do six-pack, and they're all like, you know, the NHS should look at this in some way, shape or form. Exactly.
I think what really impresses me with six-pack is the fact that you're empowering yourself in terms of your health, your mental, the side of your physicality, your physiology, everything is, and it's not difficult. It's literally, it's about discipline over motivation. And it's those small compound actions that will lead to the result at the end. And I think that's important, just to stay the course of anything you decide to put your mind to.
I think also we hand our health over to other people. So a lot of people will eat bad, not care, and then know that they can get given a tablet. But then they've got to take another tablet to counteract the side effects of that tablet. And before they know it, they're having and then they'll go and have a hip replacement.
Yeah.
And they'll get knee replacements. And like, you hand your health over, whereas you should take control of it yourself.
Yeah.
A Dr. Alka Patel did a podcast, did a TED talk, and she said health should be actually a verb, which is health is something you should do. Rather than an adjective, a description. It should be something that you do, which makes a lot of sense.
Definitely.
And I said and then I did a podcast with her, and I said to her, actually, most of us spend our time undoing.
That's very interesting, actually. Yeah. So if you were Minister of Health for the UK, how would you change the way this country thinks about and what active changes would you put in place? Bringing together...
that's a big job, isn't it? Because you've got to understand people as well. and I'd love to get every single person on the six-pack revolution at least once. Then they've got the knowledge, the key, and they can go and make the decisions. Do they want to live a healthier, happier life, which most will. But what would I do? Crikey. This is a tough one, because if you look at the supermarkets and you bring everything out into the car park, healthy food, unhealthy food. The healthy food will be the size of my fingernail, and the unhealthy will be the size of my house.
Yeah.
Even if you go to a corner store, there's only water is the only healthy thing. Everything else is jars of this and crisps and sweets and cakes and biscuits and cheese and processed food and we've got nothing else unless you know what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely.
And I suppose it would just all be about trying to educate people, but then people don't want to be educated. People have to want to be healthy, I think.
That you have to have that hunger, for want of a better word, to change.
Yeah, I think people just don't care. And they when I die, I die. But they don't look about what that's doing to the rest of the family. And it's a shame, because life's great if you allow it to be.
Yes. If you were to do it all over again, what would you change?
That's a tough one, because it's gone so well. And all the mistakes on the way have been needed to happen. So I don't know if I would. Yeah. It can't. No. Every stepping stone has been the right one.
Yeah.
Even the mistakes. So if I hadn't gone through those mistakes, this is what I try and say to people as well. Like, life's an obstacle course, and all we've got to do is get from one end to the other somehow.
True.
And some of those obstacles will be small, and some will take a bit of thinking about and some hard work to get over.
Yeah.
But each time we get over the obstacle, we're stronger, more knowledgeable. We've moved forward, and we can now make our way to the next one. Yeah. With a better equipped. Yeah. So if I hadn't gone through any of the mistakes, then I don't think it would be where it is. So I think I would change nothing. Yeah. Which probably most people say to you if you ask that question. They've done something.
So do you then believe that there's no such thing as a coincidence?
I'm the woo now. I'm a believer in that. I love the law of attraction. I believe that everything's energy, and so if therefore everything, and that's basic physics really. Everything's energy. Our hand isn't even solid. If we had eyes that were microscopically powerful enough, we'd be able to see the balls spinning. And so I also therefore believe if something hasn't got energy, it can't exist. So I try not to give energy to anything that I wish didn't exist. Bit woo-woo, is that?
No, you're manifesting and designing the life that you want to.
Yeah, and as I said to you earlier, if something doesn't happen in the way I was hoping it would happen, I assume it's for my good.
Yes, yes.
I do actually smirk to myself.
Yeah, yeah.
And that trivializes it. And that's what I try and teach people on the program as well. Yeah. All these things that you are giving energy to, that you wish didn't exist, stop it. We've all been through rubbish. The world's full of idiots. People are going to do bad things to you. I've been there, got the T-shirt. It's going to happen. Yeah. Now you've got a choice to make, forwards or backwards.
Makes me think of Ryan Levesque, who's a very successful CEO in the US. He owns a company called Ask, and he builds quiz funnels. And his philosophy is you're either winning or you're learning. And it's only one of those two.
Correct.
So, yeah.
It's all about just looking at life from a different perspective.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
And the light shines the brightest in the darkest of places. Definitely does. But you've got to open your eyes to see it.
Yes.
And be willing to.
So that's quite poignant then for this period we're entering into. Naturally, winter's a very dark time. Winter in 2022 is going to be a very interesting place to be. And obviously there's been a lot of messages coming from the media that's very negative and hyping on the recession and cost of living crisis. And we've got a potential nuclear war going. There's just so much that's been bombarded at us. So what would your advice be to just manage this next period?
live your world within this world. Stop living the world of the media and what you're being thrown. Every time you turn the telly on, it's bad news. Every time you read the paper, it's bad news. There's no such thing as good news, right, at the moment. It never has been, really, if you think about it. Very rare. Are you in the position where you've got no money and you can't function, you can't even feed? Well, you might be they might be making you think you're going to get into that position. Stop living that reality that doesn't exist at the moment.
Yeah.
If you live the life that they're telling you, then you're going to just be one miserable person.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just create your world, you can't change what they're doing. That's never going to happen. And people say, well, that's the bad attitude because, if we don't stand up and talk, it's never going to change. The government, whatever government comes in, is going to be just as bad as the other one. It's just not. But you can, if you stop focusing again on what you don't want,
yes,
and put all your energy into what you do want, then I think you can create a great little life for yourself.
Definitely.
And stop living the misery that they're programming you to. Turn the telly and the radio off, for goodness sake.
Yes. Yeah.
And see what your week's like. That's what I would recommend people do. Turn it all off.
That's a very interesting. I think that's a great 7-day challenge.
See how your week is.
Definitely, definitely.
And there was a lady on the news when she was 106, and she'd been through 2 world wars and she'd had COVID twice, and they said to her, like, "What's your secret to longevity?" And she said, I might get a few words out, but literally this is what she said. She went, "If anyone says anything to me that's remotely negative," and as she put her hands up and went, "I'm not interested." That was it.
That's it. Yeah.
And
focus,
that's what you should do.
Definitely. And reframing negative language into positive, and that mindset, and as an example, abundance versus scarcity. Because like you said, when we just focus on what we don't want, we attract exactly the opposite of what we don't want.
But even if you don't believe in that you're attracting it, there's no downside to being positive, assuming the best in every scenario, being inspirational, moving forward, assuming the world's rigged in your favour. But there is a downside into hating yourself, assuming life's about to end, assuming that the worst in every scenario, not believing in yourself.
Yeah.
And it's only a choice.
Definitely.
Do you want to choose that one or that one? Well, when I realised that it was my choice to always look on the upside, I didn't see any point in looking anywhere else.
So I was going to ask you a question, and maybe there's a very short answer then. Do you suffer from imposter syndrome? And if you do, how do you overcome it?
So imposter syndrome, let me just make sure I've got it right. That's when I'm talking about something I know nothing about?
Well, not necessarily. Well, that's what your voice is telling you.
Right.
But you're absolutely qualified to do what you're doing. You do deserve the good things that are coming to you. You're about to get signed in a big book deal. But there's this little voice that creeps in and says, well, hang on a minute. You're not qualified to do this. You don't know anything about that.
Never.
Imposter syndrome creeps in with a lot of women.
Is it just a lack of confidence?
Could be.
Right.
It is, and it is fine. Yes, it is fight that little confidence mindset monkey that could be sitting on your shoulder and stopping you from achieving the greatness that you deserve to achieve. I mean, just think, if you had that vision that you had with that 6-pack, if you had never followed through, how many people would have missed out on transforming their lives and changing? And how many amazing things have happened to them as a result of doing the program? Just think, that came from you, one single thought, and following and acting out on it, and having the confidence and the courage to steer that path.
Yes, I've grown with it. The speaking bit is my favourite, which is probably the scariest bit. Not so much now, but as I was going through, like getting to say that if I look back on old videos, I can see how nervous I am when I'm saying stuff. And now I'm like, but yeah, I guess you grow with it, don't you?
Yeah.
But when would I ever? Maybe I would be maybe I would sit. It depends, I guess. Back in the day as well, if I was in front of a GP or a policeman or something, because you put these people on this big pedestal, or even a celebrity, it's like you feel like you're on a back foot.
Yeah.
I don't feel that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't think I'd get imposter syndrome. But I don't know. Who knows? When would I lack confidence in something? Who knows?
It's, yeah.
Maybe if I was, as I say, if I was put in front of some professor of psychology and I'm trying to explain my version of how a human, and he's loads of posh words, maybe I'd sit there and go, do I actually know what I'm talking about here?
Yeah, definitely. Well, as an example, I mean, I would never have thought I'd be showing my belly on social media. So I'm doing things I never thought. And I've done it in a heartbeat without actually thinking, oh my goodness, what are people going to think? And I've been contacted by people outside the program. They're like, oh, I saw you, and they want to know more about it. So I think there's a lot about just getting over yourself. And I think that's what you're very successful.
It's liberating.
Yes.
Because when people spend all their time worrying about what other people think all the time, then they don't live their own life.
Yeah.
They live a life based on other people's opinions.
Definitely.
Which is if you think about that actually deeply, is actually ridiculous almost.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's something we've got to stop doing.
Yeah.
And actually the things we think people care about, they don't care about you.
No.
In a million years they couldn't care less about you. And if they do, it's their problem.
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes we're looking for permission. And it's about how do you give yourself...
I'll give you permission. Do what you like.
Thanks,
Enjoy
Scotty.
yourself.
Is there anything that keeps you up in the middle of the night?
2 things.
Okay.
Alcohol.
Right.
It makes me, if I have a couple too many, I'm never really like falling over. Look, I've got kids, if I have a few too many, I get up in the middle of the night and I feel like a bad man, a bad person, a bad dad. It really gives me anxiety. And even though I know by the morning, next day I'll be all right halfway through the day, it still doesn't let me sleep. I've got a real bad relationship with that at the moment. And there's a part of me that feels weak because I want to go teetotal in my head or my heart, but my head still wants to be a bit naughty sometimes and have a few beers or whatever, And even though the non-alcoholic beers are just as good now, pretty much, I still want the real beer as well.
What would stop you from total sobriety then?
Well, I built a bar in my back garden through lockdown, which most people did, I think. So that was a bit silly. So that probably doesn't help. There's something stopping me. But I have gone from I would do shots and I do this and I cut it all down. I got to just, I'm only going to have wine and beer because this week I couldn't even do the wine. Wine's way too strong for me now. So basically I drink beer, which technically is much better because I'm only going to get through a few pints because there's so much of it. Yeah. And it's weak compared to everything else. But there's still something in my mind that tells me I'm weak. But I'm allowing myself to be weak in this scenario at the moment. But maybe it will change at some time. And another thing that keeps me up at night, not so much now, but used to, was when I got a bad review.
Right. Okay.
I used to, there's people there who say there's no support. And I'm like, oh my God, I give every single person till I close my eyes 7 days a week, as much support as I can physically give anyone, plus my team and everything. And I'm like, so I'll be up and like, what did I do? What went wrong there then? Why did they not even see that? What? But then I spoke to people, and you've got to understand that you're not going to please everyone. You can't save everybody. I'm trying to save everyone, and it's just not going to happen. Yeah. And also, when it's always people that don't finish the program as well.
Your biggest critics.
Oh, that's the only critics.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's only a handful out of thousands, but it's like when you go on a review for a hotel and you look at the 1 star and it puts you off. And you got 1,000 5 stars. Yes. It's the same for me when I read those, especially as I'm so invested in it. Yeah. So when I read those and hear the venom sometimes coming from people to me, I'd rather it was to me than anyone else, but when it comes to me, it's like, oh, wow. But my responses are quite funny. Well, they are to me anyway. I have people join because of the 1 stars, which is good. And my responses to the 1 stars.
There you go.
And Trustpilot themselves, we were rated #1 physical fitness program on Trustpilot, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Trustpilot themselves called me up and asked if they could use my answer for a 1 star as a template on how to respond to a bad review. So I went, you actually read it? So I was like, all right, yeah, go for it. Enjoy.
So what's the kind of magic then you put into your 1 star responses that turns that around then?
Well, they don't like the responses. Sometimes I'll get another response to the response and stuff like that. But sometimes I'm saying things like in tongue in cheek. They just didn't get it, obviously.
Yeah.
But I just tell them the truth. A lot of the time they are saying something that just isn't true.
Yeah.
And I've got actual proof it isn't true as well. I say to them, I've got the conversation between me and you here now.
Yeah.
We spoke 27 times. How can you say you haven't had any support?
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
Definitely.
And you were really nice on your messages to me.
Yeah.
When we're talking one-on-one, you're fine.
Yes,
now behind the keyboard,
exactly.
you know.
Keyboard warriors. Yeah, definitely. Well, it's more about them than what it is about you. So.
I have to get even though I preach that, I still have a in my heart when I see a 1-star come in. I think, what am I reading now?
Yeah.
'Cause it's like I've got to read something bad about myself, isn't it? Or the program, which is me anyway. So.
That's a whole conversation, isn't it? Yeah.
But I'm better now.
You are better now.
I try and find them as fun. I try and make fun of them rather.
You have to. You can't take it seriously because if you focused on that, and it's not even a 1%.
It's not. It's 0.0001.
Exactly. Definitely. And if, like I said, if you focus on that, how many people would be missing out on what you can do for them? So, affiliate marketing. Why don't you do it?
I did once.
Okay.
I spent £9,000 on a system.
Right.
And it was the worst thing I ever did.
Right.
Because it changed the love that people were delivering for the program. People were trying to force people to do it. I don't want people to be forced to do it. I want people to do it because they want to do it. I was getting people like, and then people not putting in their code. And then they'd be coming to me saying, well, this person was my person. That wasn't my person. It drove me absolutely mad. It changed the dynamic of the way people spoke about the program because it all became about what they were going to get out of it instead of what they could give to others. So never will I do an affiliate marketing for the Six-Pack Revolution again. That's
very interesting. Yeah.
And I can't stand like multi-level marketing and all that sort of stuff either.
Yeah. Yeah.
It changes people.
Yes. The what's in it for me.
Yeah. It changes people. And I don't want that in my program.
Yeah.
I want it to all be about all the positive stuff.
So I have a question for you, Scott, around you've got this massive vision, this massive business. It's a huge animal that probably takes so much of your time and energy and mental focus. 364 and a half days off a year, but you get allowed for your Christmas dinner. How do you balance your being that leader in your business with your family life and the family dynamics and giving everybody what they need at home?
If I'm honest, I probably don't give them enough. I'm really lucky that my wife is very supportive. Like she just tells me to go for everything that I even mad ideas I come up with. If you believe in it, go for it. She looks after literally Jasper 100% of the time, which is our little, he's nearly 2 next month.
Oh, wow.
And I'm really lucky that they allow me to share myself with everybody.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I do enough in the sense of time with everyone because my job doesn't finish at 5 o'clock. It's till, it's all through the night. If I didn't sleep, there'd be someone who could contact me.
Yeah.
Because obviously we're in so many countries. It's 24 hours all the way through. So the balance is not right, but I think we accept it because what I'm doing is something special. It's giving so much to so many other families. It's kind of saving lives. And I get messages. I got a beautiful message the other day from someone telling me that I was their angel in human form. I get a message, thank you for giving my children their mummy back. Written messages in cards, not just texts or anything. And I think because it's doing so much for humans, I think they let me get away with it, and they're also quite proud of me for it as well.
Yeah. You're going to have me go in here in a second, feel I'm well enough here.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
It's powerful. It's very rewarding. It's something that is above the norm, and so I think they allow me to
definitely
to give myself, because I'm helping so
many
many
others. I don't know what you've just said there. Whew, let me compose myself. Wow. That touched something, doesn't it?
It's a very emotional job. Even on the final photo day, we do 6 waves a year. On the final photo day, I'm always in tears.
Well, I'm going to have you in tears on my final photo day.
I'm always in tears. My wife, I get kind of left alone that day because I post every single result myself.
Yeah.
I'm still, as I said to you, I'm one of the team. I'm mucking in.
Yeah.
And I'm still present all the time. And it's really emotional. You see people come to the program and don't forget, I'm the one who gets the phone calls of the attempted suicide. I'm the ones who get the self-harm. I'm the ones who've been badly abused as children. I'm the one who gets all of that. And to see them blossom from something where they're literally at the life's end to come out like Lara Croft and Wolverine at the end of it, like superheroes, and see their faces. What a lot of people don't look at as well. Look at the faces, look at the eyes of the people in the final photos.
That's it.
They're like empty and full of life, confidence, sexiness, power.
Yeah.
And they're like a completely new human.
Exactly. And it's not even just the eyes. What I've noticed is the whole posture. You know, I see so many people standing slouched in that first photo, and then it's almost like you're standing upright and straight. And
this was my point earlier about neurons in the mind. Like if you sit like this and you're telling yourself you're not well. So even if something's not going well, if you stand chin up, ready to take it on. You're gonna do things differently, and your mind will read that from your body, and your body will read it from your mind. And if you've got to pay attention to what you talk about yourself, how you think about yourself, and how you stand. And obviously how you eat. And once it's not even difficult. You can do it now. No one's got to even wait till tomorrow. You can change your life today. You know, stop focusing on what you don't want. Stop believing in the worst.
Definitely.
And if I ask so many people, I say, okay, for the last 30 years, how many of the things you've tossed and turned about, not ate properly, not slept properly, butterflies in your tummy, worry, anxiety, how many of those things actually came true to the extent that you were worrying when they happened? Let me ask you. I can give you the answer if you don't know it yourself.
I think the worry for me personally has been bigger than the actual thing.
Let me ask you the question. How many have turned out to the extent that you were worrying, when they happened?
None. None, actually.
It's a big fat zero.
Yeah.
Right? So you've got 100% success rate in getting that wrong for 30 years. That's more than 2 life sentences because you get out in half the time.
Wow.
So stop it. How about we change that and not make the next 30 years like that? Exactly.
Draw that line. This is it. Yeah, definitely.
Now, today.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
Assume the best in every scenario and you watch it happen. There's the woo again.
There is definitely. I'm not letting you get away with a family question anyway.
Sorry.
That's all right. But going back to your family then, because what you were talking about was around the time that you don't have. It's a currency that is very limited. So how do you then balance that if you don't have the quantity to give them with the quality that you do have?
So I've got a 13-year-old, a 9-year-old, and let's call him a 2-year-old. He's nearly 2. So you're right. We don't have a lot of time. Like the young children thing changes at about 4 years of age. and then my daughter's just turned 13. I'm just going to be a taxi driver now. And she was my shadow. I miss it. I'm mortified about it. I struggle with it actually. Where has she gone? Where's my little princess gone?
Yeah.
And it's quite painful at times, and I struggle with it actually. You know, and being a teenager, she wants to just be on a Snapchat with her friends, wants to go out down to town with her mates. She don't want to be with dad anymore. We used to play chess. She don't want to play chess with me anymore. So I've got, and I don't actually, at this stage, I actually don't know how to, if anyone can let me know, give me some ideas, please do, because I don't know how to create something that we can do together that she wants to do. We tried tennis, we tried this and that, and I'm just falling flat on my face. Hugo, my 9-year-old, we're always kind of, we're probably do more together out of everyone. We're very similar. We're quite silly. We're quite camp, both of us.
Oh, really? Okay.
We like the same things.
Yeah.
We find camp things funny. We like horror.
Yeah.
And writing. He writes stories, and so we're very similar. And we're going this weekend to Jurassic World at the XL for a Dudes Day. We do Dudes Days and Dudes Weekend. I find him is a little bit easier to pick stuff. I can take him on a camping trip or something like that, and that'll be ideal for him. But for a 13-year-old girl, it's not the same.
Dads and daughters.
I mean, I can take her shopping and buy loads of stuff and she like that, but I want some more quality than that.
Exactly.
You know, so.
Well, I mean, it's a minefield because of the age.
We did have a really good daddy-daughter day. We went to London Dungeons, because she likes horror as well.
Okay.
And that was really quite fun, actually.
Yeah.
And then we were going to go and have lunch and then go home. And then she said, "Oh, Daddy, I don't want to go home." So we ended up going to watch Back to the Future.
Yeah.
So it was a long day. But we had the best time ever. It was really good. Probably one of the best days I've ever had. And that was not too long ago. I think it was under a year ago.
Yeah.
But I need to do more of those.
Exactly. Take her away for the day, just you and her, and you'll find your, just hang in there for the next few years. Yeah. And as long as she knows that you're there for her unconditionally. I think there's room for improvement for sure. Okay. But then also I feel attached to my people, like all the participants as well. So, it's the altruistic side in you. You can't save everybody. I'm doing my best. So what advice would you have for somebody that has a dream like you have had and wants to make a big impact in their business and grow something that's scalable and that's not about playing small anymore. They know that they're made for more. What advice would you have for that person? That's good actually, to know they're made for more. That's what I felt when I had the double glazing company. I felt like I've got more to give than this. This is like, no, this isn't me. It's quite a negative place as well, that industry. And I felt like, but I didn't know what it was, and then it just appeared in front of me. I didn't know that when I blogged that thing, doing that 6-pack, that I was gonna create this. But I did feel like I had something more to do with my life. And I would say to everyone, first of all, if you can find something that you love. Have you ever heard of Ikigai? No, I haven't. There's a book called Ikigai, and what that is there's this like little island somewhere like Okinawa way, like it's like the size of a grain of sand on the world. It's tiny, right? But it's got the most centurions on that island than any other country in the world. Oh, okay. And for anyone who doesn't know what centurion is, someone who lives over 100. Yeah. And they went there and asked what their secret to longevity is, and they said that we work in something we love. So they're still working when they're 100. Okay. And yeah, for example, I can't imagine me not doing this. And even if I'm still 80 years of age, I can still see me, because I love it. I might have to cut down the hours a little bit and just do maybe the talking and stuff. But I would say find something you love for sure, first of all. And now is a real good time to there's so much like scope to promote yourself with social media free. Yeah. If you can bring a product to market, it's so easy to show it to everybody. Definitely. If you think about back in the day where you would have a local
newspaper in the super news agents,
Yeah.
and you put a little ad in the back of there, hoping that one person might look at it.
Yeah.
You can reach millions now.
Absolutely.
And so I say, if you want to find something that's going to have longevity yourself, then do something you love, because otherwise you won't have the passion to do it.
Definitely. What's the point in waking up for mediocrity? And it could be lucrative, but if you're not waking up absolutely bang in love with what you do, then that's going to fizzle out, isn't it? It's like a relationship, I suppose. Yeah, definitely. That's great advice. Yeah,
definitely
great
do
advice.
something you love.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously that I can see that it oozes out of you.
What does? Oh, that I love it.
Love, the love for what you do.
I love it and I live it.
Yes. And I think that's important is that you embody the spirit of exactly what your vision and your mission, your purpose is. And I think you're right. I think the barrier to entry is lower now than what it ever has been to get yourself out there, to grow your audience, to do whatever you want to do. I remember in our generation growing up at school, we had very limited exposures to what you could do. You could go into teaching, doctor, nurse, the labels that we were talking about earlier. And now it's so exciting because you can literally imagine, and whatever you can conceive inside your head, you can create that. And how
they don't teach you that in school, though, do they? They don't teach you how to create something, bring it to market. There's a business in itself.
Yeah.
To teach people how to create something and bring it to market. There you go. Everyone can have that one free. If that's something you love, go and do it.
Definitely. Well, I think there's so much scope with Generation Alpha, our children and that generation, because they're the creative generation. They're the ones that are going to be the problem solvers, and making decisions from a more ethical point of view with everything that's going on around us. I definitely think there's going to be more scope for collaborations and projects rather than the career. So, no, really, really exciting. Well, I think that message definitely needs to reach the younger generations earlier on. So then it just opens the mind up to possibilities and opportunities. Possible. Yeah. Definitely. So speaking of oozing in the most positive way, I am, as you can probably hear and tell, I'm such an advocate because I feel like I'm a living, breathing advert for the six-pack revolution. And everyone around me gets so tired and bored of hearing about, right, this is my meal plan for today. This is how I've changed. I'm showing people my photos because for me, the transformation has been so rapid. I mean, I'm wearing clothes I couldn't have fit into 4 weeks ago. And so that's in itself, I'm rediscovering this person I absolutely love inside. How, without me going and telling all my neighbors, how can other people find out about the Six-Pack Revolution?
The sixpackrevolution.com. That's THESIXPACK revolution.com. And you can go on there, you can read all about the program. Also, you can come onto our Instagram or Facebook, which is at thesixpackrevolution.com. We're also on Twitter, TikTok. Can you believe? We're on TikTok now.
The TikTok
I never thought that would ever happen, but we're on TikTok. We still get we've got 2.5 million views and stuff like that. So
wow.
it's a big platform.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can find us pretty much anywhere. And we are now open for the January wave. So we do 6 waves a year: January, March, May, July, September, October.
Okay.
And the January wave is now open, and you can join there and kick off 2023 with a bang.
Brilliant. What a way to start the year.
Change your life.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Scott. I mean, it's been a pleasure. And yeah, should we just carry on talking? No, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me.
You're very, very welcome and much love.
Thank you.